If you like what you hear in this podcast and want to help us keep the lights on, then you could support us on Ko-fi for as little as a £1 one-off donation. The links are in the episode description. Thanks for your support. This is Skip, the show where we tell you, in our opinion, which of your favourite albums are truly unskippable and which ones belong in the skip. I'm Mike.
I'm Rob.
And this week, today, whatever passage of time we're dealing with at the minute, we are taking a look at Fantasy Black Channel, the debut and ending and only album released by Light of the Pier, and this suggestion comes in from Jasmine. Now, we don't tend to discuss how we feel about things before we turn up to record, because it just keeps things fresh.
Yeah, but we did struggle with not sharing our opinions on this one. I'm not necessarily saying that we struggled to listen to it, but we just struggled to not vent our opinions to one another, which we try not to do, as Mike said, but we had to break convention this once.
Yeah. Well, this time, because we normally record in batches, just to kind of pull the curtain back on what is two dudes in a fucking side room. But we listen to multiple albums at once, then we record in batches. It just means we can get things out quicker, which is always nice. But with this particular batch, which means this is not the only episode where we're going to be saying this, was a struggle.
Yes.
To kind of keep everything inside. You will soon find out why. So let's get a little bit of context around this album before we dive into the review of it. It's an interesting time in music at this point, as I'm sure you're about to tell us. Because this was very much the time... I think you classify this band as like dance punk or something like that.
That's what it says online, dance punk, which doesn't make sense to me because it doesn't sound like dance music.
No.
It doesn't sound like punk.
No, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? Its peers appeared to be bands like Hadouken, which I would not have called dance punk. I'd have just called scene. But I guess that referred to fashion. I don't know. I was only a teenager at the time, so I only should have known about it, but hey-ho. Let's hear some historical context for Light of the Pier's first and only release.
So, this was released back in 2008 on the 30th of July, and was first released in Japan.
Okay.
And then came out on the 4th of August, so a few days later in the British Isles. Weirdly enough, came out on Parlophone, so quite a big label. They had a couple of labels after them, which was interesting. After their first, I think there were 5 EPs before this came out. 5 tracks from an EP.
Okay, sure.
They took just over 2 years to record this.
The only thing I know about the recording is that part of it has been recorded in a bedroom, so very much in the Jamie T style of production. And other parts of it have been recorded in various studios around the country, as far as I'm aware. I don't think you get a massive sense of that causing a big problem with the production, so that's a big plus. I can't tell which ones are bedroom tracks and which ones are studio tracks.
Well, as we've said in previous episodes, if you look at Panic at the Disco's first album, recorded in a bedroom, sounded incredible.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what verdict we had on it because you have to listen for that.
You do. It's only our first episode?
One of the first ones. Anyway.
I think it was the first episode.
But it's not necessarily saying that any album recorded in a bedroom is going to be bad. You don't get the vibes of it at all. It sounds really professional. Everything is just really well recorded.
Yeah. It doesn't lean into the bedroom kind of vibe, if you know what I mean. I think that's what I forget the name of it. Hope maybe somebody will suggest it to us. But I remember listening to a Jamie T album that like very much sounded like it was recorded in an echoey room.
It was like Sheila and stuff like that.
That's the one. That might be Stella. That might be the name of the album.
Goes out with her mate Stella.
That's the one. That sounded like it was a dude hunched over a Korg fucking in his back room.
Yeah.
And that was a vibe, right? Like, I get why that was popular.
It was like the inauguration of home recording because it was a possibility. We had the technology. We could build it better.
Sorry, we were referring to Jamie T as a Tony Stark-like figure. It just makes me feel weird.
The $1 billion man.
Yeah. I assume he's rich anyway. So Light of the Pit, they recorded their album in they were teenagers. And the interesting thing that I read about them was that this is also, in essence, a concept band. Apparently, they do have stage names, although I can't remember a single one of them. They did have kind of glam-inspired, futuristic-style outfits, which isn't in any of their promotional photography. It's very much just for Lego haircut kids. I will say this, right? If anybody suggests Hadouken's first album, like, I might surprisingly reappraise that positively, because I hated that at the time.
Well, as somebody that's seen Hadouken live,
this goes one or two ways. Because look, you'll say I've seen somebody live, and I'll be like, that sounds better. And you're like, they were fucking shit.
That Boy That Girl is the only song that sounds anything remotely like That Boy That Girl. The rest of the album is just dance hits.
Interesting, really?
And they were actually quite good.
Really?
Considering I saw them 2 weeks after the absolute shambles that was Newton Faulkner. Yeah. They were refreshing.
It's so funny how we have just different perspectives and different experiences of artists, because you saw Newton Faulkner in a tragic... Is it an acoustic set?
It was an acoustic. All of his sets are acoustic.
Oh, is it? Okay, I don't know his music that well.
Yeah, he's an acoustic artist.
More on acoustic artists in another fucking episode. I'm swearing a lot today. You can tell that this was difficult. I saw him in American Idiot, so it's a little bit of a different...
Yeah, a little bit different. I saw him at a show that were charging around £50 per ticket, where he forgot the lyrics to one of his most popular songs and started singing about his love of tea.
Oh.
Didn't go down well.
Yeah, nah, I can imagine not. Thing is, if you play the hits, people don't mind you riffing, but don't forget your hits.
Yep. Don't in the middle of the chorus, forget the words. Or at least make something that sounds similar.
Did he start playing to go, like that?
He actually stopped playing and went, you know what? I've just forgot the lyrics.
Moving on.
I didn't pay, so I was fine.
Speaking of hits, this band didn't have any.
No.
Very poor chart performance.
One song made it into the UK charts at the peak of 98.
And I have seen comments online from people up to and including serial adulterer Dave Grohl saying, like, this band is mint and it's like a hidden gem and more bands need to be like this. But they didn't perform very well in the charts when their peers, I felt like, got a lot of radio play at the time, as well as like music video channels play at the height of their popularity, like an MTV2.
Well, the thing is, that makes no sense. So they had one single that got 98. Why, then, did they get 5 out of 5 from The Guardian? Did they get 4 out of 5 from AP? Did they get 8 out of 10 from, that great, like, magazine Pop Matters?
I thought that was leading up to just spit on NME, but then it wasn't.
It got 4 out of 5 from the NME.
Oh.
So there's something somewhere that they've either really chose their singles poorly, or maybe the reviewers don't know shit about what they're talking about.
It could be one or the other. It's probably the latter.
sorry, did I have a bug in my throat then?
I think you
I was saying the reviewers are full of shit.
Yeah. We know this. Apart from the people that gave Sleep Token 5 out of 5, they're fine. They're okay. I would die.
Did anybody give them 5 out of 5 for that last
Guess
album?
who gave them 5 out of 5?
Is it Enemy?
It was the Enemy.
Wow.
Sleep Token. Not even Kerrang gave Sleep Token 4
Press gave them like 4.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll die on the hill. I think even an Arcadia is fantastic. But like, do I think it's 5 out of 5 material? Maybe not.
But anyway, back to the actual album in question.
Can you tell we're not looking forward to this bit?
So, if we have a look at similar albums from the same year. So this went up against Fleet Foxes with Sun Giant.
I remember them.
They went up against Las Vegas with a self-titled album.
I'm not going to pretend I remember them.
Lady Gaga's The Fame.
Oh, it was that year.
And the big one of the year, Coldplay's Viva La Vida.
Oh, God. I mean, I don't like Coldplay, which might piss off some people who are planning to write in telling me their favourite Coldplay album, but I don't like Coldplay.
Neither do I.
The only touchstone I have for that album is, wasn't one of them made into a Minecraft song?
Yes, it was. Fallen Kingdom by Captain Sparkle.
That was the
one! Another fun fact about that Coldplay album, that was the album that made me fall out of love with Coldplay. I had to review it for a magazine I was working for. I listened to it, went, this is horseshit, gave it 1 out of 10, then got let go from the magazine because I was too harsh.
I mean, also, reviewers don't know shit, right?
Apparently, no, reviewers don't know shit. I gave up on that gig a long time ago, and now I'm here doing it all over again in a verbal format.
Rob has been fired from this week's Skipped.
Oh no.
No,
Skip must burn.
What publication were you writing for?
It was just a local one in Birmingham.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, is it the one that if you did their promo, you get free tickets to shows and that? Because they advertised a couple of times, didn't they?
Yeah, so I just did. I had some great experiences through them. They didn't actually fire me for that. They just asked me to be a little bit less harsh, and I said, no, I'm not doing the review then. No, that's fine. Someone else will do it.
Cool.
But I got to meet Funeral for a Friend, a couple of other fun bands.
Oh, decent.
So, yeah, had a great time. And
do you ever meet later the Pier? I'm guessing not.
I didn't know who they were before this review.
No, it was one of those bands, right? I must have heard the name, because he didn't go, well, who the fucking hell are they? It wasn't an immediate question mark when this suggestion came into the inbox. But I must admit, it's not somebody I'd ever heard before we were asked to listen to it for this show.
Well, it was a shock for me, because listening to the introductory track, I was expecting some form of metal.
Yeah.
So when I heard what I heard, which we will talk about momentarily, I promise, it kind of put a bit of a dampener on it.
I get that. I get it.
So this album had 5 singles.
5?
5 singles.
Which 5 were released?
So it was Bathroom Gurgle, The Bears Are Coming, Space and the Woods, Fokker, and Heartbeat. The album peaked at number 28 in the UK album charts, but did not chart in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, a band that really releases one album and then disappears into the ether. I don't know whether this was at the point where if you didn't crack the States, it didn't matter. I know that there's a lot more of that kind of domestic music, for the UK now, at the very least. But, 28 is quite high for something that didn't have any charting songs.
Yeah, that's why it's a bit of a shock that they didn't get any singles that charted relatively well. Usually you'll tend to find that if something hits the top 30, at least one song, one single, I should say, charts relatively high. So maybe this was just an outlier. Maybe it was because the singles were released prior to the album release, and
maybe
the album as a whole just worked better for some people. We'll never know.
Who knows?
But sad fact, they didn't actually record any further albums following the death of their drummer in 2015.
Yeah, I did read that, and obviously I'm not gonna crap on somebody, who is no longer with us. So that's not something we're gonna really go into. But
we'll
that's
just say
times.
It's sad times, and he was a mighty good drummer.
I will say that the percussion kind of throughout the album, where it works for me, is actually pretty good. There are songs, we'll go into it, which ones, that they're just a bit cacophonous, but it's not necessarily the fault of any of the talent. I think it's more about how it's been mixed. But we've been putting this off. We're 14 minutes into our recording. Whether or not it'll be 14 minutes of the show, you tell us. This was really hard, man. This was a challenging listen. I will say it got easier with repeated listens.
I agree.
I normally like to try and do at least between 5 and 8 full listens of the album before we come onto the show, right? And those first 3 were difficult. I was struggling to find bits I liked. I think I sent you a message when I was doing my first, because you got to it before me, and I sent you a message and I was just listening through it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still yet to hear anything I like. I'm just really I don't know what this is.
I think that was a bit fairer than my message, which was, I got to track 3 and I had to stop.
Yeah,
do we have to do this? Can I veto it yet?
we got this close. Little did we know how bad it could get. But we got this close to going, nah, let's just do albums we like.
We were very close, but we thought, in the essence of fairness, and the fact that somebody took the time to submit this album, that we'd at least give it a chance. So I managed 5 listens. How many did you manage in the end?
I did do 7 in the end. I did do 7 full listens through. And by that time, I was starting to get more familiar with the songs, and therefore I could kind of look forward to certain elements and dread others. And that's probably giving you an indication of where this is going. Because some of these tracks are actually fairly well put together. And I'm going to start with kind of my top track of the whole thing, which is their last single. It's Heartbeat. I genuinely believe that is something I would choose to listen to. I would see that in a playlist and go, oh, I'll listen to that one. What I like about it is it's the only one that's got a lot of things going for it all at once. Because there's a decent build from the synth into the guitars. It actually does feel like the two elements are working together the best in this song out of the entire album. There's a decent drive in the song, so it keeps up a good, decent tempo, which I really like. There is an instrument drop for the chorus lead-in, which could come across as being a bit false, I guess. But it works, right? The chorus is fine, even if the lyrics are a bit rubbish, because it's just the same line, but at least it's fun, right? It's a bit Block Party. I will say it leans heavily on Block Party, and maybe that's why I like it so much. But it's pretty good. If I'm being critical, which is what I'm here to be, I think it does take way too long to get to that breakdown bit at the end, with the diddling, 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 diddling bit at the end, which is genuinely excellent. But I'm more positive than negative on this, and it's the only time where the synths, the guitars, the vocals especially, because this album, I go back and forth on this vocal style, but it works here, because I think it feels, like I say, somewhere between Block Party, Britpop, Test Icicles, maybe. I don't know. It's in that kind of, well, maybe a bit Klaxons-esque as well, without the harmonies. Maybe like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying, though.
I get what you're saying, but do you want to have a shock?
Go on.
So, the sound of this album was developed by listening to the alternate style of The Prodigy and grunge music of Nirvana. How this transpired from the mix of those two, I will never know, as they have no elements of either band.
There's no bite. Like The Prodigy is like, it's even if when it's happy, it's angry. That's the point. It developed out of rave music, and Nirvana had, I don't know, Nirvana was plumbing something deep. We know this, or it wasn't. You know, it was either complete bass level or it.
I just don't understand how those two.
That doesn't work.
It doesn't. And then later they say that they tried to blend it with Motown. Yet another style that
you
just
don't get
does
any
not
of that.
Work.
It's not there. It's not that it doesn't work. It's not fucking there.
But I agree. Heartbeat is one of the songs on the album that I like. However, the guitar solo at the end I did not enjoy.
Okay, fair enough.
It hurt my head.
There's a lot of hurty head bits.
There's a lot of hurty head. There's
album.
a lot of random wiggle guitar for no good reason that just does not belong there, and the track would be stronger without.
Yeah. I don't know whether this is... The thing is, it sounds pretty confident, right? It sounds like a band that is doing what it wants to do at maximum volume. Why then does it sound so...
held back?
Yeah, right?
It feels like, considering it was their release, and they took 2 years to produce it and like make it to the best it could be, why does it feel like that they were holding back at the start when this was supposed to be a concept album where even the lyrics were a concept? Like, the lyrics were on the spot for the majority of songs. So why does it feel like they're holding back and then just throwing random elements into like a tenth of the song? It feels like they should either commit to it for the full piece or not have that at all.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's interesting that you bring up the whole thought up on the spot thing, because there's a particular song I'm diving into one I don't like now, because it just seems like a good time to do so.
Well, can I at least go through my positives?
Oh, okay, sorry. I won't be... I had things to say about this particular song, but you carry on.
It's fine, because it'll be interesting if you have those thoughts about one of the songs that I like.
Yes, go on then.
So, out of the entire album, there are 3 tracks that I like.
Okay.
Heartbeat was the second one for me.
Cool.
Oh, no, actually third. I'd say third in the list. So, my top song is between Space and the Woods and Whitesnake.
Interesting.
So, I'll go through Whitesnake first. I liked that it had a good rock indie feel to it, kind of like Franz Ferdinand, early Franz Ferdinand, with a random mix of piano from The Feeling and drums from Iron Maiden. It feels like
I get that.
really weird concoction that would absolutely rip in Burnout games. It feels like you could sit on a Burnout game, have that playing in the background, and you'd be like, oh yeah, this is the one. And it works because it is just a great mix, and it shouldn't work because it changes times, it changes styles, it changes everything throughout a 3-minute song, but it works weirdly.
It's interesting because I did write down, I agree with you. It starts off, it's got a great rhythm. that for opening riff is really good. And then what I said is it's immediately torpedoed by the absolute bullshit improv lyrics. Is this the one where it's like, there's something there to feel alright? Is that one?
Yeah, I think so.
What the fuck was that? Like, it's like they ran, like he couldn't quite lean over to look at his fucking lyrics he'd written down.
They were written on his hand and it was rubbing away. Oh no, I've washed my hands!
Oh, it's like when Homer's trying to remember what he's saying to Mindy. You are an asp. Just
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
It was just rolling. Like the inner workings of man.
Like, we have one take. Don't
We've
forget
run out
the
of No. But yeah. And then my other song, Space in the Woods, I just feel like it's a really tight rhythmical song with good vocals and good instrumentals.
I get it. I don't mind the riff in that. I think there's a fairly good riff. The wobbly synth out guitar wasn't for me.
It wasn't for me either, but for that song, it works. Some of the others, not so much.
Although, weirdly, again, the percussion does help that.
100%.
Because there is a double time on the drums, and it raises that entire song up. So did you put that top, or did you put Whitesnake top?
It's between the two.
I definitely put... I mean, Whitesnake's pretty good, right? It wasn't in the two that I really liked, the ones where I'd actually choose to put them on, because that was Heartbeat, and which one was that? I don't think I minded Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
I didn't mind that one.
Again, it was because they were ripping off Block Party, but this time with Pete Shelley-style Buzzcocks punk vocals.
But comically, when this album finished on my drive to work, a Block Party song came on and I didn't realise it had gone to Block Party.
It's genuinely really close to some of the stuff on Silent Alarm. It
really
shocking.
is. It's very close. It's just Block Party have got much better vocals.
Yeah, this is
much stronger vocalist
and
guitarist.
And, well, everything else. Everything. Yeah.
I like Block Party.
They're a great band. I've seen them live. They're really good. I think the problem I have with the rest of the album, and why I can pick those two, because I'm like, good, confident, strong, driving songs. That's what you want. Something in dance. You know, if it really is dance punk, you want something that is something that you can keep a time to very well, so that you can dance, and something that feels a little bit anarchic. And it does feel a bit anarchic, but because it's just throwing things at the wall. It's the end song that is the worst example of that. It's not the worst song on the album, but Bathroom Gurgle just
is a gurgle.
It just, like, they had 12 song ideas, right? And one track left on the album, and just change it every 60 seconds.
It feels like a lot of this album is filler.
Yeah.
And that song, along with VW...
Oh, just a fucking nothing burger of a track.
Yeah, like the intro, you can understand. They needed an intro to the song, even if it is a very abrupt end for no good reason.
Yeah.
But VW feels like a film score that they went, oh, this sounds nice, and then just threw it on the album.
Basically, yeah. There's something in that reverse melody thing they've got going on that they do absolutely nothing with. It doesn't go anywhere. There is no crescendo. There's nothing. It's just, apart from just where I know he says garbage, but it just said it on my first listen. It said like he yelled cabbage at the top of his voice at the end. I was like, it's a hell of a fucking lead into yelling a vegetable. But
did
why
he tell
not?
you he's vegan?
Is that how they did it at the time?
That's just how you announced to the world cabbage.
It was like he twatted something on the floor and like in exasperation was like
cabbage.
And Sign of the Times, the fucking the thing after it, the only actual like vocal. It's not a vocal, but it's just he goes, "Can you smell snacks?" Like, oh yeah, haha, funny. I'm so random. 4chan Omega lols. Fucking get out. Just, but that is an absolute product of its time, right?
But that's not the worst track on the album.
No, it isn't. Do you want to talk about that now?
So I want to see if you agree.
Okay.
Mine is The Bears Are Coming.
I fucking hate this song.
I have renamed this one.
Yeah.
Wet Fart and a Try Day.
Okay.
Because that synth just sounds like a squelchy ass. It is awful.
This was the point where I was like, oh no, I understand what he was saying.
This was the track I got to, and I was like, I have to turn this off for my sanity.
Oh, it's so bad.
I was in the middle of a work day, and it infuriated me.
Yeah.
I had to turn it off and go and sit down for 5 minutes because it wound me up. I have never had a song wind me up so badly
Yeah.
with a sound.
And it goes on for so long.
Yeah, it does. And the rhythm's way too repetitive. It's got this stupid, screamy vocal that sounds like Susan Boyle stood on a needle. Like, that's all it reminds me of. It's just all over the place and seems like the song doesn't understand what it is.
No part of the instrumentation here works in tandem with anything else. That fucking... It's just, what the fuck is it? It's like someone...
It sounds like someone kicking 10 shades of shit out of a Teletubby.
sounds like someone shoving a theremin up their arse. It's just...
Making love to a chicken in a farmyard.
Oh, I just hate everything. And just the piano having like this fucking croak on it, and it just sounds ill. Even the percussion, like they've gone high timbre, right? They've gone for like something like kind of shallowish, like a marimba, kalimba, whatever it is. It's not that high, but it's not a standard kit.
No.
It sounds slightly more, I don't woody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just it feels different and high pitched, and that does, like, immediately that didn't jive with the rest of the album. And then you've got the theremin fucking, and then you've got the shitty piano, and then you've got the crap vocals, and then of course it tries to go all fucking math rock on you, and the tempo changes, and it breaks, I would say, any convention of real music. Just becomes instruments and voices arguing with each other.
It becomes wail, like it's just wailing at that point.
Oh, I thought you meant like whale music. I thought you meant like,
no.
I was like, you may as well.
Hey, if anyone uses this to go to sleep, then woo, I feel for them.
They've got a lot going on.
Okay, Google, play The Bears Are Coming.
Is that going to set off my phone shit? This, but with just like boring history for sleep talking over it, or struggling to tell you about Vikings and shit.
I can't even speak. I've lost the ability. The anger is fuming back. However, not the only bad song on the album.
It isn't.
I liked Broken initially, but when the wailing came back, instant turn off.
Yeah. It's the skipping at the end. It's about a third of the song of just post-production nonsense of just, we're just pretending to an old radio station. Like, yeah, cute, but it's a 3-minute song and you're doing that for one of them.
Yep.
Not cute now.
Then you've got VW, as I said.
Yep.
Like a film score. The Enemy Are the Future. I just think it's a really boring song.
It's just, the thing is, it's so long.
It is. It's just a lot of instrumental filler.
The words I use to describe it are piddling around in the music rooms to avoid doing maths. Like, genuinely feels like...
Feels like a GCSE music class.
Right, it does.
Feels like you've just left the kids to lean on a piano and just go, aren't I hilarious?
You know the bit, like in the Klaxons where they sampled those old keyboards, like for Gravity's Rainbow, and it's like and that's the bit.
DJ.
Yeah, and they found a way to make it work. This is like the kids who failed that class. It's just in the background somewhere. Just you play something, I'll play something. I'll just sing some words,
and I'll smash my head off a keyboard for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I
just no.
Do it.
And I didn't like the end of Fokker. That really hurt my head.
I think the alt rock guitars and the scratchy synths actually, it's the first time it worked because it made something feel a little bit more raw. But it was this piddly little arpeggio. It wasn't quite Now's for Breakfast, Tax for Snack. It wasn't quite that, but it was. I just hate this piddly little thing. Don't do that. And I just don't think that when it went into that "I want to be your friend" refrain bit, and I just don't think it worked. And I felt like they were trying to lean a little bit on like a pendulum style drum and bass without the bass.
Yeah, just drums.
That's just drum. That doesn't work.
But it just hurt my head. That was the only note I put about that song. It hurt my head.
And Fuck Up starts all right. Like the first 30 seconds are all right. And on that first riff, it kind of sounds a little bit somewhere between Pendulum, like I said, and kind of White Stripes.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it nearly works, and then they don't
then they ruin
get
it
it to do it. Yeah, basically. It's either they really just go out of their way to ruin it, or they come very close. And then occasionally they make it work. Like with 2 or 3 tracks on the entire record actually break through, and the rest of it just...
fall short.
Random furl. Literally, I made one note. It just says my first guitar riff .wav. Like that's all I have to say.
A lot of the album feels like that, and understandably, they are young kids. Well, they were young kids when they wrote this, and it took them 2 years, and they did it in a bedroom. Props to them. They got a record deal. Yeah, they only released one album. Didn't do overly well, but there are just elements where I just couldn't force myself to listen to it again.
Yeah.
There are tracks where I wouldn't turn them off. However, I think it's time to answer the most important question of this pod.
Oh, I wonder what the answer will be.
I'm not too sure, Mike. What will your response be? Do you think that this is true? I'm sorry, this is going straight in the skip.
Oh my God.
Covered in petrol.
With some force, this is
going to go to the
skip.
bottom of the skip for me. Will other things take their place? You have to tune into other episodes to find out.
There were some good bits in this. There's going to be some albums out there that have no redeeming qualities, and this has
I
some.
agree. But so yeah, unfortunately, Late of the Pier going in the skip.
Yep, sorry, Jasmine. She actually wanted to write in with several album suggestions, and as I kind of got in touch to say, if you had to pick one, and this was the one, I'm like, oh no,
oh no,
oh no, I'm really going to break some hearts today.
Everybody's music taste is subjective. Like, if this is what you're into, then sound. We are very much not of this ilk. We have very different. Well, we have similar music tastes, but we also have areas that we both adore that are very different to one another. But we can both agree that The Bears Are Coming is the most migraine-inducing anger song.
I think it's the singular worst track we've listened to for this podcast so far.
I completely agree.
I hate it so much.
And because of Wet Fart on a dry day, this is unfortunately going straight into the skip.
I do think there's talent here, right? Would I still rather listen to any of their contemporaries? Yeah. Like, it's kind of non-negotiable. The reason why there are bands like Klaxons and Block Party and regrettably Hadouken that were more successful is because I think it wasn't as challenging and much in the same. I keep referring back to the Blonde episode. Maybe that's going to be like the measuring stick for, is the artistic value also actually going to make me want to listen? And maybe you can listen to Fancy Black Channel and go, but I hear the vision. And I just don't. I think I heard the vision in Blonde, but I didn't vibe with the music. And the problem was that would I say it's an unskippable album? No. There's bits you could vast swathes of Blonde you could just chuck in the fucking bin. Whereas this is a much tighter package, but the package doesn't work. I don't hear the vision. If it's a concept album, I don't hear the concept. There is one element of it that I understand, the performance side of it, but I just think is bad. And it's the vocals. Because from track to track, he doesn't know who he wants to be.
It's not a consistent vocal track.
No. In one track, he seems to think he's Bowie. Then he seems to think he's Pete Shelley at the Buzzcocks. Then it's a Jack White ripoff. And
then he's just yodeling.
And
it's just painful.
Yeah. I don't get the identity. It's too much of everything and too much of nothing. And The Bears Are Coming is dog shit and we won't defend it.
However, would you like to recommend a track of the week?
It's my week, isn't it? Well, have we done a Bill Murray one on the show? I don't think we have we?
I don't think we have, no.
Well, he dropped a fucking banger, so we may as well talk about it,
We have
right?
to talk about the Hogman.
We have to talk about the Ohio Cryptid Society or something like that. He'd been teasing a new track for quite a while, and I was excited because, don't get me wrong, I don't like to put out my opinions before we reviewed something on the show. But if anybody ever asks us, I think I said this last time, ever asks us to review American Motorsports, it would be a perfect 10 out of 10. But More Than Hate is Bill Murray's, Johnny Frank's new single. And it's so good. It's so goddamn good. It's so much heavier than anything on AMS. And I think that's all to its favour because it leans back into what he was doing kind of
with Attack with the Crabcore days.
Yeah, and
it's like a full circle moment for him.
Kinda. But you hear threads of that on Eggy Pocket, which is a great album name, and a little bit on Goblin Hours, but not loads. And this really goes a lot further than any of those do, because that's, he's going in that new direction of those albums, and now he's looking back and kind of perfecting that Attack style. That fat, heavy opening riff is so good. And then somebody said, why does it sound like Megadeth music with Backstreet Boys choruses? I'm like, yeah, that's basically what this is.
It works.
It's so
Tell
good.
me it doesn't work.
He's writing emo music, like proper prime emo music, better than anybody else can.
He's writing the best crunchy sad boy vibes.
I forgot about that playlist.
But it works, and they're an incredible band to see live.
Oh, they're
they
so
bring
good.
the energy at every performance, and every single member of the band has their own character and work so well. But yeah, I agree. That is a great track this week.
I can't wait to hear that live and to see where Gabby puts saxophone in it, because there's no saxophone in this one.
There isn't, but she has got backing vocals.
Oh, more than half.
Very, very faint backing vocals. I was listening to it intently.
No way, really.
It's like later into the song, so I think it's just going to be a single-long track for her. Unless she just picks up a guitar and just shreds.
I believe that Gabby Rose could do that.
If she picked up a bass and just let rip,
that'd be
then
sick.
that'd be incredible. Considering that they don't have a bassist and they are that heavy.
Right? Like, that is a full-bodied set. But
when
I think
we saw them, I was like, I didn't realise that they didn't have a bassist, but somehow they are heavy with a singular guitarist and occasionally two guitarists.
I think Johnny Frank gets the production more than anything else.
100%.
He's so talented at it.
It's all in the perm.
It's all in the perm. It's in the perm, and it's in the 200cc engine of his ride-on mower.
Oh, yes. Lawnmowers have never been so sexy.
Go and check that one out. And if you have a suggestion for a unskippable album, then please do send it into our email inbox. That is skippod@gmail.com. That's SKIPD. You don't use that E. skippedpod@gmail.com. You can also find us on the socials. We will be on Instagram and potentially Blue Sky, if I can be bothered to delve back into a Twitter world, because I'll be honest with you, my mental health took an absolute peak the second I came off Twitter.
Same.
So, like, maybe we'll, when we won't, but skippod, SKIPD, skippedpod, on all platforms is where you can find us. But thank you very much for listening to this episode of Skipped. We will see you next time. Bye, everyone.